everyone, my name is Dalila. So the book I got to read this semester is The Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell, which tells the story of a young girl and her Native American tribe who live on the island of the Blue Dolphins. The main character in the story is a young girl named Wanapale, which means girl with the long black hair, but her secret name is Karana. Karana is a chief's daughter. She has two siblings named Ramo and Ulap. She is the middle child. One day in their tribe, a Russian ship arrives looking to hunt the sea otters that live around the island. The tribe and the hunters make a deal to let them hunt for exchange goods, but the day of the actual exchange, the Russians try to swindle them. So Karana's father confronts them, which leads to a battle, and in this battle, half of the men in Karana's tribe die, including her father. So as time goes on, a new chief is elected, and he decides to leave, and as time goes on again, another large ship returns, but this time to take the tribe with them to the new land, which would be the Americas. However, on the day of their voyage, her little brother Rommel gets off the boat, and when the boat starts to sleep without him, Karana, out of frenzy and panic, jumps off, and the ship leaves without them. So they wait for the boat to return, um, not knowing when it's gonna come back or if it's gonna come back. And one day, Karana wakes up to discover that her brother had been killed by wild dogs, so she stays alone and waits for the ship to return, but it doesn't return until 18 years later. But during this time, there had been ships that came to the island, but when they would come, she would go and hide, so she never actually seen anybody. But when the boat does come back 18 years later, this boat takes her to a mission in Santa Barbara where she discovers that she is the sole survivor of her tribe. And apparently, the boat that was carrying her people had sunk in a storm before it reached mainland and before it could ever return for her. So no one ever knew she was there. I feel like this book really related to our class well because it showed how Karana developed physically, cognitively, and effectively. It showed her how the fine motor skills, which involved the controlled use of her hands and fingers, and it showed her perceptual motor skill as well, which is the ability that requires the sensory motor system. It showed her being able to apply these skills to make bow and arrows for weapons when she needed them to protect herself from animals or any threat that she might have. As well, it shows that she learned visually from her dad, like the zone of proximal development. She was able to make these weapons, but she never actually got to make them when her tribe was there. It was something that the men would do, not the women. Um, we also got to see how Vygotsky's theory of development was put into place because her culture played such a huge impact on the way she lived and the way she was living. They taught her how to hunt, how to make shelter, how to cook. So her that theory of development really was really strong in this book. As well, she's emotionally intelligent. She's able to see the way people feel and think. She's able to show others what she thinks they want her to see. So she ref, she conceals her true feelings to show what she wants. Um, and she's also very culturally competent. So in the end, when the new boat comes to pick her up, she is able to hide her true feelings about the way they're dressed, about the way they look, the way they talk. But she shows them that she's actually really happy with the way they are. But in reality, she doesn't like them at all, and she doesn't like their uniforms and their clothing and the way they talk. She thinks it's funny. But it's interesting to see how far she's developed in this story. Um, she's emotionally intelligent. You just see her develop from a young child in a young middle childhood all the way into adolescence, all the way into adulthood. So I felt like this book was really great for that. And I think that this is a really great topic for children to understand the way middle childhood works into adulthood. And so, yeah, that's my summary for this class this semester. Bye.